Okay, I believe we're live. Yes, we are live. Okay, cool. They've changed some things in the behind the scenes stuff here in StreamYard. So for those of you that are watching us learn our way through a couple of things in our last stream and tonight, apologies. They've changed some things. Like, what the fuck are they doing? But anyway, we're here. It's time for another episode of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
And there's a lot to get through. Once again, as always, we're going to be talking about the latest releases from Weezer, Skarlett Riot, Trucker Diablo, and The Vendettas tonight, along with a hot topic on Dave Ellefson and, the bin and all the usual stuff. So whatever you feel like doing so, please jump into the comments and give us your thoughts on things as we go along. And if you'd be so kind, if you're checking this out live or by audio later on or watching the stream later on, not live, then just hit the description of this because there'll be links and all that sort of stuff to the bands. To follow us, so please follow us across all our platforms. There's links in there to our Patreon page too, and also there's a link to our PayPal. So any help you can give us would be greatly appreciated. And while we're talking about all that sort of stuff, a big thank you, as usual, to our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description. So find them, give them a follow, show them some love. You know what to do if you've been watching us for a while. Well, like I said, tonight we're going to be going through Weezer, Skarlett Riot, Trucker Diablo, and The Vendettas, and we'll get to the hot topic in a second. But before we do that, the last time we saw each other, Dave, was actually over the weekend when we were filming the Grunge special. So how have you been since then?
Yeah, I've been good. In order to remedy the Grunge special, I've been listening to lots of hair metal.
That article you found was a pisser.
Yeah, I know. It's like I wrote it. It's kind of weird. Kindred spirit somewhere out in the world. Mm-hmm. But all will be revealed when the episode goes to air.
Yes, end of the month.
Yep, and we'll get some interesting feedback, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, apart from that, I've brought myself a new guitar, which I'm totally stoked about. Got the Epiphone SG in the nice black color, totally different to my other one, which was an Ibanez RG. Which two different guitars, two very different styles, and I'm very happy. So, yeah, weekend coming up. I'm going to spend most of it playing with that. But probably not Saturday because it's my anniversary. Been married 11 years, which is
pretty great, dude.
Yeah, beat that, Hollywood.
Things are all good here. No new guitar for me. I don't get to buy guitars at the moment. It's been a little while for me. Yours is very, very sexy, Dave. We should get a photo of that at some point and stick it up on the page or something. Yeah, so we'll get something in that regard happening. So you sent that video through, so I might stick that up if you're not bashful about that.
Do something better, but yeah, go for it.
Oh, how about this? You let me know what you want me to put up, and I'll put something up of you playing with the new guitar.
Sounds good. I'll come up with something on the weekend.
Cool. Just been working away as usual. Nothing's really changed. Just sort of keeping up with the grind of it all, but it's all a lot of fun. It's been a good week. It's actually gone by pretty quick this week. It's been busy on all fronts, and looking forward to this weekend with actually, because the last few weeks, every weekend there's been something on again. So this is one of the few weekends where you can look at it and go, okay, I got nothing on. I might be able to sit down and do nothing for a day. So I can't promise it, but I'm going to try it. And congrats on your anniversary, Dave, to you.
Thanks.
So
I plan to have nothing on.
We'll see what Julia's got to say about that. She'll correct your homework in a different way, Dave. There's a whole new meaning to hot for teacher. Speaking of Van Weezer coming up later on tonight. But anyway, we got some people joining us, so thank you everyone for jumping in. Sally's gone here. Hey Sally, as usual on Facebook. Nudes has jumped in, another irregular of ours. Good to see you again, buddy. And Thomas Evaldsson from Sweden. Greetings from Sweden. So nice international viewers. Thanks for joining us over there on Facebook. Another regular, Dean. Thanks for joining us again. He's just saying, hey, Andrew and Dave, hope the week has been well for both of you. Looking forward to the Vendettas review. I think we're all looking forward to that. We'll get to that very, very soon. And Nudes, of course, we can do this. She's gone, hey, guys, it's our daughter's birthday on Sunday and any chance of a happy birthday shout out to Morgan. Cheers. Well, we will do another stream on Sunday in theory, but just in case we don't, Morgan, happy birthday for Sunday in advance. Hope you have a fantastic day.
Happy birthday, Morgan.
Yes. We'll do the nice stuff when we can. Dean's gone. Nice buy, Dave. SGs are great guitars. That's cool.
Oh, they are.
Yeah. That's why you spent – because the deal here for Dave, for those who haven't been paying attention for a while, is that Dave wasn't drinking for a while to save his pennies up for this guitar. So
yeah, I tried, and then Christmas hit, so then I started drinking a lot. But yeah, scraped it together, got there, had a goal, and I got it. So I'm happy.
Awesome. Got some comments.
Guitar since I was 17.
Oh yeah, wow, that long. I knew you wanted it for a while, but
yeah, been like a dream guitar for a very long time.
Well, congrats, you finally got it. So hope you enjoy it.
I am.
I remember your kids' reaction, what you were telling me about that, how you were bringing home your... Do you want to tell the people out there?
Yeah. So I said to my kids, are we bringing home a new member of the family? And they're like, oh, we're getting a puppy. I'm like, oh, dear. I'll get a puppy one day.
Yeah, well, they're all excited after hanging around with Caesar the other week. So
yeah. That was a good reaction, Rory and Caesar.
Yeah.
Rory's like, Caesar's like 5 times the size of Rory.
Yeah. And he was scared. It was the funny thing about that. We've said it amongst ourselves privately, but the awesome thing about it was when he got here, when you guys got here, Rory wanted you to pick him up because Caesar was so big. He's a big Great Dane, people, for those that haven't seen him. Very, very big. He's taller than most humans are on his back legs. And so Rory was a bit intimidated by a dog looking over his head. But then when you guys were going, he was actually wanting to stay and play with Caesar some more, and Caesar was getting right into it and playing with him. So it was really cool to see that dynamic shift. And for those that don't know as well, like Rory was a bit intimidated by dogs, and Caesar's a rescue dog that was badly treated before it came to us. So it was a good sort of, mixing each way. They both had really good responses out of that night. So it was fantastic to see that sort of stuff going on. We are generally nice people behind the scenes, I promise. At regular hours on YouTube, tough. G'day, my fellow bogans. Let's start with a joke. I want to tell the family, I like heavy metal, got an iron anvil, best gift ever. Okay. He's gone, I just realized how metal I am. I go to the gym and lift metal to metal. Lol. Okay, there we go.
Can't get more metal than that.
Hi, Barry McClellan. Hi from Ireland, guys. Been posting the new Trucker Diablo CD to Australia people who pre-ordered. Hope they arrive soon. Awesome. Cool. Nice to have people that are involved in that behind the scenes. I would love, if we can, I know it's a time difference, but we'll see if we can get Tom or some of the boys from the band to do an interview like this, these stream interviews one night. That'd be cool. But we'll see how we go with that. But anyway, we've had some fun. Make sure you get involved in the comments as we go along. It's time for the hot topic for this week. And I think there's only one real topic we need to address, and that is the old saying is the elephant in the room, but I think we're talking more about the trunk. And that is the latest revelations, shall we say, about David Ellefson of Megadeth. For those who haven't been paying attention, there are some lewd videos going around. No, we're not going to share the videos. I have no interest in seeing those videos personally. Of him basically, let's just say, showing how fast his riff hand goes,
with himself,
pleasuring himself to, I guess, some sort of digital chat with a 19-year-old young woman. Dave Ellison's 56, she's 19, and there's been a bit of an uproar. People were accusing him of grooming and all sorts of stuff going on. So there's a bit in it. But anyway, we've had a few different opinions in the THRS lounge. So we'll see how people go with this. What do you make of it all, Dave? We've sort of chatted a little bit behind the scenes, not a great deal.
Well, it's certainly a solo release we weren't expecting to see coming, were we? At the very least, it's destroyed Megadeth for me. I can not listen to lyrics or look at album titles without adding the word wank to a lot of them.
The chat we had was insane.
Oh, everyone keeps going. There's like countdown to masturbation, wank in peace, wanking is my business and business is good. Fuck. But to get serious for a moment, from what it seems like, he's met this fan and they've had an online friendship. And when she was 17, I think they became friends. And then as things have progressed, she's 19 now. And they've had some conference calls. He started the call, got recorded. She showed it to a friend. Friend got pissed off and posted it online. He immediately posted a statement saying that a lot of misinformation has been shared. And she's posted a statement saying that she was never underage when anything took place. It's always been online. At the very worst, he's going to have a very tough conversation with his wife.
Oh, I think that's what I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a dick move for him, but he'll have to pay the consequences for that. It's not illegal. It's not. It's tacky. It's ticky. It's icky.
Yeah.
It's just 56-year-old man with a 19-year-old girl. He should know better, especially this day and age when everything you do online has potential to get leaked. And well, at least it's unique. I mean, there's been plenty of celebrity sex videos released, but usually the celebrity is with somebody else, not with themselves.
Yeah.
I guess he might wanted to prove he could play without a pick, being a bass player. Oh man, there was so much in this.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, hope if he's done nothing illegal, then just move on. Media won't want to milk it for all it's worth. I'm sure he's done his own share of that. But yeah, the ongoing thing is though, Lars Ulrich will no longer be the most joked about person in metal.
Yeah,
and when you go to a Megadeth concert, you'll be going like that for Dave and going like that for Dave Ellison. So keep those two fingers up.
Yeah, well, two in the pink, one in the stink, but anyway.
That's it. Oh. But next time you listen to In My Darkest Hour and the whole wouldn't lend a hand, you're not going to be, just Megadeth is destroyed for me. Yeah. I want to know what Dave Mustaine thinks of this. I mean, he's pretty serious when it comes to his band's image.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if Ellison remains in the band. But
you did see the statement Megadeth put out on their Facebook page, yeah?
Yeah. It's like, obviously there's things he's been keeping to himself. We'll wait for the whole everyone to get their side of the story out. So
yeah,
I don't think in this point of his career, Mustang's too mature these days to just do anything rash, I think, which is bizarre talking about Mustang like that. But yeah, he's far from stupid. He won't do anything stupid to piss off the fans, I think, ultimately.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? The whole situation. Now, so everyone's going to argue a few different things in this regard, and that, you know, he didn't do anything illegal. Okay, that's yet to be proven. So you're always innocent till proven guilty. Sorry. It's my issues with this. Like, I actually found the Megadeth statement to be incredibly well worded. I think that is one of the best brief statements I've seen with anything like this in quite some time. Just saying, basically, we're going to wait for everyone to have their say and respectfully listen to everyone involved and then go from there. Now, for mine, whatever happens to Ellison from this point forward is on him. I mean, if he loses his gig in Megadeth, well, he's got no one really to blame for this but himself. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, because Nikki and I were talking about this after our interview stream on Tuesday night, and she was saying, but his trust was betrayed. And I said to her in response, well, I'd argue that his wife and children's trust was more betrayed than his was. And the other side of the coin here too is that if this wasn't a guy from Megadeth that, you know, we all expect, you know, rocks and metal people to do this sort of stuff, if you take into account from mind that the fact that he's a pastor and was apparently studying to be a pastor at a different church as well, that adds a whole new wrinkle to this. Because if we say to people that a 56-year-old church minister was caught masturbating to a 19-year-old girl, that changed the conversation big time. So if you take away the mega Dave Ellison crap out of it, I think also there's a question to be asked and answered in terms of, we have a lot of discussions these days, to be, you know, actually serious about this for a second as well. A lot of discussions about this in today's society about gender inequality and I think the power dynamic that would exist in this quote unquote relationship. He's 56, he's in Megadeth, he's a worldwide star, has all the money in the world. She's a 19-year-old girl that he started talking to when she was 17. Now, she's come out and made the statement saying she was never groomed. And that may well be true, but the opposite could be true, because most people that are groomed will defend the people that have been grooming them for some time. So her coming out and saying it doesn't necessarily disprove it either, for my way of thinking. Now, I'm not saying that anyone's guilty or innocent, whatever, any of those things, but I'm saying there are questions to be answered. I don't think you're going to get all the answers you want unless they do something drastic like release the entire chat history, which might be the only way out of this. which is, I mean, what's the worst that happened now? Like, the worst is literally out there when it comes to how much more embarrassed can you be in this situation for Dave Ellefson. And I think it's a bad situation for everyone to be in. At the same time, the guy should know better. He's a 56-year-old musician who's been there, seen it all. He should know that if you do anything digitally, it's going to be recorded. I mean, do you want me to I can empathize with his situation, but I'm finding it very hard to sympathize for, like, have sympathy for him, because it's a very interesting way of looking at things for mine. And like I said, the fact is that he's also involved in a church, which means he is having access to people that you may, like if this was a teacher, any of those professions that we have regard to when it comes to influencing younger people, those are things to consider in this environment, because I think the same power play or power imbalance exists when it's a young fan. We don't know who reached out to who first. So it's a very, there's a lot of answers or questions to be answered. And I think that if neither party wants to answer any questions, okay, fine. Look, good luck. I don't think they'll prove any criminal wrongdoing. And I'm not suggesting that there would be, but it is a very awkward situation. And I don't feel personally comfortable with the way it's played out. I think that, not a smart move from either side of the coin, to be honest, but at the same time, I would put more burden and responsibility on him than the girl and her friends, to be honest. I mean, what 19-year-old does a lot of things thinking 5 steps ahead? Yeah, no. For mine. But, anyway, I know that people are saying, well, it is what it is, but I think just take the rock star element out of this and it gets a whole lot creepier, a whole lot quicker. So
see what training to become a pastor has done to him? He's learned their behavior. It's all their fault. They've been teaching him bad habits.
Yeah, well, it is interesting. It is interesting to see where this is going. We got some comments coming through, which is nice. So Sally jumped in, said wanker. News jumped in to say, reckon he was sweating bullets. I reckon he is probably sweating bullets on the daily at the moment. Yeah. Tough jumped in to say, all I can say is issues, a whole lot of issues. Yes, that's very true. Kieran has jumped in from YouTube, came in the house. Thank you for jumping in. And when you were on your roll with the puns there, Dave, Sally also jumped in to say, keep them coming, Dave. So there we go. Tough Sneezer, what do you mean she's 19? Continue the song. Yes, well, there's a few songs about that sort of stuff already. And Kieran jumped in again to say no slap bass solos in the future. Yeah, although it could be maybe all he's doing in the future for quite some time. Sally said Dave's going to be pissy. He's a drama queen, so that's a very possible thing too. And Tough jumped in. Didn't Charlie Chaplin rock the cradle? Well, I think they all have at some point in time, but again, society has moved on. Here we go. Wow, not a Megadeth girl. Dude is a pastor. Throws a different light on it. The Ooch factor just went up a fair bit. So, that was something I had been thinking about when it comes to all of this.
Just dissing out a blessing.
Oh, shit. And Top goes, you mean 90-year-olds don't want to hang out with 50-year-old men? Lol. Well, try having, young girls that age around the house. They never want to see anymore, so it's all good. You'll get there when yours gets to that age, Dave. And Kieran's gone Ronnie. So here we go. We got a whole lot of comments there. This conversation isn't, I think the bottom line for me is that this conversation probably isn't going to go away anytime soon. It's not going to go as quietly as any of the parties involved would want it to go.
The jokes are too good.
And that this will be a pun for 10 years, but the other side, and the other side of the coin, though, is that it's been I don't know for sure, but the word is around that they've been talking since she was 17, which does put her underage. And there's also the other side of the coin here is that if it was in America, you can't even buy a drink until you're 21 in a lot of states over there. So what are the states, the laws that apply in that regard too? But if they started conversing at 17, they're going to have a lot of questions asked from authorities, I think, at some point in time about that. So I don't think it's going to go away. We'll see what happens. Because also remember that everyone's going to do everything they can to protect people that have done the wrong thing for as long as they can until you no longer can anymore. But not suggesting that's the case, but I'm saying that does leave you enough room to question people's stories at this time for mine. Anyway, on to some fun stuff, shall we? I'm sure that Dave's having fun on his own anyway these days, but we'll move on to our first review of the evening, people. So I'm going to try. This did not work last time, so I'm going to try and do it this time. I can't promise this will work, Nudes is gone. So rock stars can't have groupies anymore. I'm sure they can. Just make it a little more age appropriate, I would imagine, would be the way to go forward in this day and age. Let's see if this works. Yeah, the Spice Girls.
Mrs. Palmer.
Yeah, no, there's something funny going on with the trying to. Another comment. Countdown to Erection. Great album, that one. Yes. the puns. Keep going with the puns. The puns are fantastic. Look, I don't know what's happening with the links at the moment. I usually put a link into the comments. There's something happened. Like I said, they've changed some things in the back end here, and I can't quite share the links I'm looking for. So I have put in the description of this a link to the Vendettas Guardians video. So for those that want to go and check it out, hit that now. I'm really trying to work out why this is not working for us. I don't know. Let's try just adding one destination, see if that works. No, didn't work in that one. All right. So I don't know what's happening. I can't share links at the moment in the comments. I don't know why. Weird. But anyway, we are going to move on. Okay. Time to go to the Vendettas with the Vendettas 3. This is 12 tracks for 54 minutes. The third studio album the Australian band released May 2021 via Golden Robot Records. Produced by the band and Matt Robbins, who joined us earlier, at Colour Sound Studios. 4 singles so far have been released, including Rats on the Wheel and Guardians, which is the clip I just mentioned. We recently had a chat to them online, a couple of weeks ago. And this took a little while, as their album before this, Bystander and Destroyer, was released way back in 2015. We chatted to the band then too. They've had a pretty big lineup change since then, and this is their latest offering. So how'd you go, Dave?
Sure. This is a great album. I love listening to this. High energy rock and roll, good focus on writing engaging songs. Could enjoy the music, or you could really deep dive into the lyrics. Good focus on storytelling. Has its roots in classic rock, but I think it will appeal to fans of all genres of rock easily. It's very much an album with something for everyone. It also sounds very Australian. We reviewed some of the classic albums recently for the Michael Gudinski special. Yeah. This album would stack up really well against pretty much everything that we reviewed for that. So it's got that Aussie sound that you don't hear it as much as I'd like anymore. It also gets the Thin Lizzy tick of approval for me. Mostly because of the lyrics and the chord progressions that they use. A lot of the time it was really reminding me of Thin Lizzy. I don't give that compliment very easily because Thin Lizzy is one of my favorite bands. Yeah. But yeah, definitely put me in that mind. There's a great pace to the album. They're capable of different moods and different song styles. It's cool that about 5 songs in, they take things down a couple of notches with the laid-back bluesy song Soldier Out, which I thought was really well done. Fantastic guitar solo on that too. If you like Since I've Been Loving You from Led Zeppelin, you'd probably enjoy this one as well.
That's a good
follow-up to that with an acoustic ballad called Only the Wicked, which is really nicely done. And then they get back into the rockier moment. So they kind of structured the album to 2 slower songs in the middle, and went rocky, down a bit, and rocky again, which I thought was very cool. Guitar tone's very cool. It's more overdriven than a heavy distortion, which suits the style of music. And when they're rocking hard, it's because of the energy rather than the distortion. It's because it's not as heavy. So it's cool that it's the musician's energy rather than any effect put over it. So I thought that was very cool as well. Great riffs if you like your riff-driven rock and roll. It's got space too. It's not overplayed, and there's nice swings to the drums, tapping along pretty quickly. The songs are really infectious. Nice bass intro to the song Flesh and Bone, and throughout the album, every musician gets their chance to shine. So if you prefer guitars or drums, whatever, it's, like I said, something for everyone. Overall, great rock and roll album. It's well worth your time checking out. In fact, I insist you check it out because it's good. 8.5 out of 10. Okay, this Face to Face, Guardians, Soldier Out, High as a Jet, and What Have You Done? Are my standouts.
Cool. Oh, for mine, I put down that if you like your old-fashioned hard rock loaded with melody, then this is for you for sure. This is everything you want in that classic, hard rock style brought into today's times. I like the little backing vocal touches on this one. They complement Steve's lead vocal really nicely on this, and this overall has that vibe of sort of Slash and Miles Kennedy kind of working together a little bit with an Aussie twist, and the vocals aren't as high up, but imagine a bit more sway as opposed to balls out rock kind of thing. There's a lot of sway and groove employed on this record. This thing oozes feel and soul. The storytelling, like you were mentioning, is wonderfully done with this. And like I said before, it's got great and feel and swing. This is meant to get you moving. It's very infectious. It's got that sort of, danceability aspect to listening to a record. If you see this live, you can imagine it's getting everyone in the room moving, no matter how old or young, what demographic you are. Like, you will feel inclined to move with this music. It's got that infectious quality to it, hands down. I love the warmth and the tones in this. The mix really suited the style of music beautifully. So, Matt, if you're still watching, well done, mate. This is a really good mix for this style of music. Really rich, really lush, warm, inviting. It's got great depth and space on it. And there's some subtle hard panning on things like the drums and the guitar to really open up the space on this listen as well. Everything's crystal clear, really well balanced. No tricks. Just get a good sound at the source. Mix it well with a bit of panning and stuff to open space. Really nicely done. But I think also it's perfect for radio. Anyone and everyone can enjoy this. It's a really mature record. It's got nice flow. Putting the slow sold you out at the midpoint was a good touch on this. And like you said, the acoustic track following that, Only the Wicked, gives this album that nice sort of centerpiece oasis moment when you listen to it. But around that, it all ebbs and flows really nicely. And it's a good, engaging listen from top to bottom. It might not be as energetic as their previous couple of albums overall, but there's more than enough here to keep you going, definitely. And I think that what you've traded in that regard is a bit more maturity in the songwriting, the lyrics, and all that sort of stuff too, which is a fair trade for one, because I think the songs are probably better written overall on this one than the previous two records so far. I do have to give a special nod to the last three tracks on this. The epic closer in What Have You Done really brings it home nicely as well. Like, that last little stanza of the album is fantastic. Basically, if you like your rock with it's a touch more hard, then this is one you've got to check out, because it still has plenty of bite in it too. So don't let that sort of description put you off. There's plenty of bite in it. I just found that the emotive storytelling was the centerpiece for mine on this one. 8.5 out of 10 as well. Rats on the Wheel, Guardians, Flesh and Bone, and What Have You Done on my standouts on this one. So hopefully you're all checking out that music and going down your little YouTube rabbit hole for you, Tough, and for anyone else that's going on. And Matt is still here. He's just saying, cheers, mate. Yeah, no, you've done a really good job. For anyone that's interested, check out Color Sound Studios. That's the studio that Matt runs. He's doing fucking killer stuff out of there at the moment. And getting better and better with every release too. And that's been the case for a while, but fuck, he's doing some great mixes. So well deserved, Matt. You've done some great stuff there. And he agrees the best album for sure. I definitely agree with that. I think it's their most solid, consistent album from them to date. Tough jumped in, sort of related to the story, but I just realized if Lars Ulrich of Metallica provided religious support to Kermit and his friends, he'd be pastor of Muppets. Tough is bringing the gold, and he's also saying down the YouTube board of Metal I Go. Okay, enjoy, buddy. So check out that. That was the latest from the Vendettas. Their new video, Guardians, was released on the same day as released, so last Friday. For this one, so go and check it out. It's been out for a few days now, and if you like that, then get onto the album immediately, because it's well worth your time. Again, links are in the description. Now we're going to go to overseas, so hopefully, where is that comment? If I can find out, back a bit. Whoa, Barry. Hopefully, Barry, you're still here, because we're about to talk about Truck of Diablo, Tail End of a Hurricane. I am going to do this just for posterity's sake and fucking hope it works, just to keep the routine going. But hopefully it comes in the comments. If not, then it's in the description. There's a link there for Slow Dance, which is the latest video from Truck of Diablo, to come from the album, which we're about to talk about. So go and check that out. If you can't see it in the comments, it is in the description, so go and check that out. But the song we're talking about here is Truck of Diablo, Slow Dance. Just search that and you'll find it soon enough. But anyway, on to the review. Truck of Diablo, Tail End of a Hurricane, 13 tracks for 54 minutes, the fifth studio album from the band out of Northern Ireland, released May 2021 independently this time around via Big Truck Records, their own. Produced by Frankie McLeod at Einstein Studios in Northern Ireland. This album comes to us interrupted due to COVID-19, as I usually put an album out every 2 years. 4 singles have so far been released, including Rock Kids of the 80s and Insects, and we've had a long association with this band because they were the very, very first band to get on board what we were doing here at the Hard Rock Show all those years ago, 10 years ago now. So we've been at this for a while, the band and us, back and forth. How did you go with this one, Dave?
Oh, this album grabs you by the throat right from the start with the song Victor. I think that's how you pronounce it.
It's Big Truck Keep On Rolling.
What is
it's BTKOR. It's BTKOR, so Big Truck Keep On Rolling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Big Truck Keep On Rolling. Cool. Heavy riffs with lots of groove, great vocals that fit perfectly with this style of music. It's heavy, but it's not aggressive playing. It's not growling, but it's certainly got a hell of a lot of balls.
Yeah.
That first song would be perfect to be the theme for a wrestling pay-per-view.
Actually, yeah, it would.
I think that'd be cool.
Yep.
There's one song on here. It's almost punk, at least in energy, called Insects, and it's got the intro, and then it switches gears, but not in the traditional way that you get a clean verse and a heavy midsection. It's still rock, but it's just a different style of rock, and it gets back to the punk. And I thought that was very cool, very engaging songwriting. Second track on the album, I Am Still Alive. It keeps the energy from the first one, but it changes gear straight away. So it's a good indication it's not going to be a one-trick pony. And they've got lots of different things, but they've got a hell of a lot of energy and a lot of different ideas of what to do.
Yeah.
Rock kids of the 80s. Fuck. The song title alone makes me smile. It's a great homage to the decade. Even if you didn't live it, if you're just familiar with some of the music from there, that's enough for you to enjoy this song. It's got references to a couple of big songs from the day. And the album in general has a bit of a 80s vibe, but it's not a throwback. It still sounds modern. It's a very well done blending of the style and the energy and the vibe. I thought that was cool as well.
Just showing the roots a bit.
Yeah, which is cool. It'd be easy to review song by song, but it'll take too long. There's about 54 minutes this goes for, so I won't do song by song.
Yeah.
I like how you get the dirty guitar riffs and then the guitars come back and the vocals get pushed up and the guitars come back. Good play in between. If you like a really dirty, meaty guitar hook, then check out this. And if, like me, you love guitar solos, there are some really good ones all the way through here. These guys can certainly play. Most importantly, they can play together. Whatever they do is to serve the song. It's not to stroke ego, not to say, look what I can do. I can bang on the drums faster than anyone else. It's all what's cool for the song. The great harmonized guitar lines as well. Choruses are instantly infectious. You're going to get these songs stuck in your head. The lyrics have some weight to them too. As it gets further along in the album, you got songs like Woodstock to Vietnam. I thought that was really interesting. I'd love to get the lyric sheet to this album and just read along. I couldn't find anything online at the moment. Just listening to the tracks, it's like, they've got some interesting stories to tell. And the songs tend to get more serious as it progresses. It starts out just a fun, easy listen, and then it gets a bit more serious as it goes along. And I love when bands structure albums like that. Perfect music for driving, whatever weather, just speeding down the freeway. 8.5 out of 10. Sounds a big truck keep on rolling. Rock kids of the 80s, Don't Hold On to Hate, Insects, The Edge of Tonight, and Woodstock to Vietnam.
Nice. Cool. Well, like I said at the start, we got a long, long history with this band. I've been looking forward to this for a while now. And that guitar rumble you hear from the opening track is their trademark sound. And I love they've still got that. It's a rough edge, but it's got plenty of rumble. I love the grunt in the sound overall. And that opening track, Big Truck Keep On Rolling, it's clever how, if you know the band well, it brings the past into today because they've got songs referencing this sort of stuff way back to the first album, The Devil Rhythm. So, and speaking of that stuff, the first few albums you can't get online because I think they were released through Ripple Records, and I don't know what's happening there, but please, if we can, get that released online. That'd be fantastic. I want more people to hear what this band has to offer because there's some great stuff there. I like how this band uses melody and hooks along with the heartfelt touch. They've never shied from doing stories and lyrics from the heart. They do it very, very well. And the opening two tracks of this will tell you everything you need to know about this album in that little nutshell. By the time Rock Kids of the 80s comes on, the nostalgia will get you involved in this, if nothing else, because like you said, you don't have to have lived the time, but if you did, it does take you back. But just the history invoked with the song titles and stuff is very, very cool. I like that. I mentioned the trademark, guitar sound. And I like that they've always had a gritty sort of mix. It works well. There's still polish in there. It's not a horrible thing at all. It actually sounds really, really good. I just like that it's not as clean and precise as a lot of other things do. Now, for comparison, the studio this is done from, I'm not sure if you remember the band I'm talking about, Maverick. Do you remember that band Maverick, Dave?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Same studio did that band and these guys. So you've got, so this is a definite trademark sound for these guys. They've always got that grittier sort of edge to them. I like how they've just stuck to their guns on that for all these years. It's a big wall of sound. There's still plenty of depth in this, though, and Tom's vocals really cut through in both their tone and the mix on this as well. Add to that what you were mentioning before, the lyrics for this, they're really well done. The storytelling is fantastic on this. These guys are always good at that. And I liked how there was that little dual guitar moment, the little solo moment in Don't Hold On to Hate. As big and gruff as this band is, there's always a really big, nice hug in this stuff, with heart and feel in all their work. Some good hooks in this. I like the melody, the little backing vocal hits to bring emphasis at certain times. And this is pretty damn catchy. I think this stays with you more than you think it will when you hear about, talking about this gritty, rumbly sort of a sound. This is very infectious, great energy. I like how they brought some sort of nasty lead work into some of the songs too, which is really cool. And, they've got this whole thing where they've got, that not sort of nasty edge, but they've got some beautiful clean tones that are used in this. And it really does, bring this light and shade element to what's going on. I like how you mentioned the punk element, because that comes in on Insects, and the intensity in that one lyrically is very, very cool too. Add to that, things like Don't Hold On to Hate, some great, sort of anecdotal stories to be told there, some things to take on. And I like the bass rumble on the title track too. That was really cool. To have that intensity in Insects followed by, the beautiful edge of Tonight is really well played. The album flow is really engaging in that regard. And you've got, everything here. You've got the sliding doors aspect of Woodstock to Vietnam that you mentioned there too. That's another great story in the song. And the whole thing is well written, well performed. They've still got these little southern touches that they've always had in there as well. It's a really big melting pot, but it all at the end comes out as distinctly Trucker Diablo. This could be the band's most well-rounded album to date. Well worth the wait. To look forward to hopefully much more to come in the future. I'm going to go back to this one pretty bloody often. It's both ballsy and beautiful, really worth your time, and I hope that the band can get the rest of the catalogue out like I was saying before. I might be biased. I probably am, but I don't give a fuck. I love this band, and I want to thank them for making sure we got this one in the email too. So thanks for sending it through. So here's to more of the big truck, keeping on rolling for many more years to come. This is a fantastic album. I loved it. 9.5 out of 10 from me. Big Truck, Keep on Rolling, The Edge of Tonight, Tail End of Hurricane, and Don't Hold On to Hate were my absolute standouts, but there is no bad tracks on this at all. This is one you have to check out if you're anything like me. So there's that one. Let's see if we got any comments while I steer away from my little notes. Okay, cool. Tough has jumped in. Another great band to listen to at the gym. Thanks to you, my headbanging guys. You're most welcome. Yeah, please do enjoy those guys. And I'm putting another link into the comments. I don't think it'll come through, but if it doesn't, okay, I apologize. But what we're going to talk about next is a band called Skarlett Riot. The video I'm linking is Human, which is not their newest one, but it is their, I think it's sort of an emblem. Whatever. It represents the album nicely. I'm trying to find, when you're going to fuck up a little bit. Like just steering away from the fucking words. I'm going to keep screwing it up. But so the next one I'm going to talk about is Skarlett Riot. I put the track Human in the description of this. If you can't find it, just search for Skarlett Riot with Skarlett is Skarlett and the word Riot. The track is Human. That's what you're looking for. And before we get stuck into that one, though, Barry has jumped in to say all albums back online shortly. Beautiful. Nice. We now all our own catalogue, just sorting digitals at the moment. Glad you like. Thanks for the support. You're most welcome. I'm very, very glad to hear that the rest of the music is going to be there too, because there's some great, great stuff in those albums that I would love to hear get back out there again. So awesome to hear that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Barry. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Tough. Here's another joke with thanks to doctors. Need to test Ozzy Osbourne's blood to find the most effective vaccine for COVID. He's been eating bats since the 80s and he's still alive. So it has delayed a lot of albums. And I think Darren is sharing some links for us in the comments. So I don't know I can't see what that's for because I'm not doing it on my phone. But if you're sharing links, Darren, greatly, greatly appreciate it. It makes my life a lot easier. There's someone out there doing that sort of stuff for us. Very, very big thank you to you. But anyway, let's move on to it. This is Skarlett Riot with Invictus. 11 tracks, 48 minutes. The third studio album from the English band, released May 2021 by Despots Records. 3 singles have so far been released, including Gravity and Stronger. This is the band's first with Tim Chambers on bass, and their first in 4 years due to, again, delays caused by COVID, which is everyone's bad thing, but it's also given us a whole lot of music to listen to in a very, very short amount of time. So there we go. Over to you.
Okay, so this band's from England, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a bit of sense because I got the European symphonic metal and I got some American metal as well. Okay, so it's kind of like they're probably aware of both that's happening. So that kind of clears it up for me. It's an interesting one. It'd be easy to add them to the symphonic metal genre, but there's certainly elements of that style, but not really orchestrated like Epica and Nightwish. But you also get the American metal ideas like some Lamb of God, mostly due to the harsh male vocals. if you compare the heavy male vocals on this to Epica, the Epica is more of a growl, and this is more of a harsh bark. So you get that more extreme metal vibe. And it's interesting how well the demonic vocals blend well with the angelic female vocals throughout this album. And she's also doing the harsh vocals as well. So she's got a pretty interesting range on her. There's moments in Black Crowd, Underwater, and To the Flame. There's probably other parts on the album, but she just brings out her evil side. And it's very almost scary contrast when she goes from one to the other really quickly.
Jumps out.
Yeah, it really does. And it works well in the song To the Flame. It's back and forth between the male and female harsh vocals. They do a line of each verse type thing back and forth. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
They really know how to develop a song for dramatic effects. The build up and pay up within the song structures are really well done.
Yep.
Now the third song, put the album on, enjoying it. First two songs are pretty cool. Third track comes on, and something about the mood of the music and the vocals, and I'm listening, and it's like contrasting elements of beauty and aggression. It made me think this is kind of like what it might feel like to suffer depression. It felt like a nice sunny day, and shades of grey on the inside. And I got that just from the music and the lyrics, because there's dark lyrics, but there's also that element of beauty. It's really weird. It's only after I finished listening to the song I wanted to check out what it was called. It's called Black Cloud.
Yeah.
So I thought, fuck me, that might actually be the topic of the song. And I got that just from the mood and the music. So if that's what they're shooting for, they did a fantastic job with that. There's a lot of layers on this one. You can enjoy it just as a casual listen to have some cool metal going, or you can dig deeper and get really invested into some of these songs, because lyrics are really well done, I think. Nice use of the keys throughout the album. They add some atmosphere to the tracks when needed, and the very haunting intro to the closing song, Human. And that was very well done. Not familiar at all with this band before, but I'm going to check out some of their previous catalog, because this was a really good listen. I give it 8 out of 10. Standouts were Gravity, Black Cloud, Into Pieces, To the Flames, and Human.
Nice. Yeah, this is the theme of tonight appears to be storytelling, I think.
Yeah, it seems to be.
This is another one. It's very much modern metal band. You got that, but with this whole thing, what I found different about this one to a degree was Chloe's vocal. She has very sweet, innocent almost sort of a tone that goes into it at times. And like you said, though, she flips that around and goes fucking bang with the growl, and it's like, okay, it's where
did that come from?
Yeah, it's the whole sweet and sour kind of thing in one fell swoop from one vocalist. She's incredibly talented. You've got the sort of, the digitized sort of tones on this. It's very standard sonically to a lot of the stuff that you get out of this sort of genre, very syncopated as well. Got the breakdowns on this, but what I found different in all that sort of stuff too, it wasn't so reliant on breakdowns. They used these expansive openings much more effectively than a lot of other bands do. There's also some great use of swing and groove on this one, and the hooks on this really are infectious. Like, you can hear some of the hooks in this just thinking about the track listing. It's like Gravity. That hook I think is fantastic, and that is the one that I will hear over and over. I think of this album, I think of this band, I hear that straight away. That's well and truly drilled in. There's a bit going on lyrically, like we were talking before. Storytelling seems to be the order of the day for tonight's episode. I'm not sure who writes the lyrics in this band, but Chloe delivers them with some serious impact, accentuated by, I think Tim does the harsher male vocal on this one, the new bass player. I think so. That's what it looks like in the videos anyway. So they do that whole thing where they're playing off each other vocally to deliver the impact really nicely on this. Her growls, fuck me. They are something else. They're really cool. Like I said, but they've gone, like, with all the stuff I talked about before about how this sounds a lot like, sonically it sounds like a lot of the genre you expect, but they've gone into a lot of depth, some really impressive depth in the detail and panning and stuff. And there was some seriously, like, a lot of that was going on, just little things, but fuck, it was really impressive on the deep listen to take on. It's like you were saying before, you can put it on the background and you'll be hooked into it pretty quickly. But if you sit down with this one and take it all in, there's a lot there to take in. It's going to really reward you in that regard too. They've got some nice soft touches with spacious synth moments. They've got more depth and space than you might expect from this style of music, and that allows, when they do punch in, when the breakdown comes, when they come back in after these moments, that really does land the impact nicely. I was wondering how you go with the sort of sound effects studio stuff going into this, but doesn't seem like it bothered you at all on this one. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I was wondering, I was curious about that, but no, I'm glad that it didn't even cross your radar. Like, very cool.
Yeah, I was aware of it, but it didn't really stand out too much, so it wasn't worth worrying about.
Yeah, but that's cool. That means, like, for me, I don't think they overdid it. I think it actually serves the songs really nicely, and it was just curious mix. I know that is a bugbear. Like, everyone's got little things that they hear and go, fuck, I hate that. And if it didn't bring a reaction from you, that's a good thing, because it means they haven't even gone close to pushing the envelope with the economy. So, well done in that regard. Like, the composition on this is where it's really interesting to me. That and the performances vocally especially were really, really cool. Once you start getting into the middle of the album, you start to get more diversity on this one. There's a really cool guitar solo in Cut the Ties, and Into Pieces is a nice soft touch to break things up as well. There's a lot more depth and subtlety across this whole album, both in sonics and in the way it's put together, the writing, all that sort of stuff too. There's a lot going on here. And I really like Chloe's tone. Her vocal was really nice on the Into Pieces track. That was probably my favorite vocal from her on this one. There's no lack of emotion at any point on this record from her, but that shows it off in a deeper way. Really refreshes you at the time of the listen on this one, starts you into the soul, back into the record much more. And I thought the second half had a bit more sort of diversity, and I thought that was more enjoyable to me personally, but at the same time, the first half is where you really get your punch sort of going into. So the whole thing is really well done. It fits the genre, but doesn't at the same time. They do enough to stand out on their own, which is pretty refreshing on this sort of stuff, because a lot of this sort of genre is pretty done to death these days. These guys have done something really, really nice in finding a way to stand out. I think guitar solos are a part of that. There's another cool one in Falling, and the track Human, that closer, is fantastic. Basically, if you love this style of music, you're going to really enjoy this record. If you don't like this style of music, I think there's more than enough here that'll probably drag you into it if you give it a go. So it's one of those ones that, give it a listen, because even if the style or the video clip doesn't quite sell you, check out the album. There's a bit more to this than you might think. I think it's very well done. There's just enough in this to make this band stand out from the shuffle too. So well done to them on this. 8 out of 10 from me. Gravity, Cut the Ties, and Into Pieces were my standouts on this one. We did get some comments coming through. So Nikki's joined us. Hello, Nikki. Thank you for joining us, Nikki. We got some people sharing links in the comments too, so please do go and check those out. Sally jumped in to say, she has a fair bit of vocal diversity. Yes, she does. Chloe was very, very cool. Tough jumped in to say, Skarlett Riot is a good band to introduce my little niece into the metal world. Yes, go and do that. Do it right. That's awesome. What do we got here? Sally's jumped in again. Yep, got the same thing with Black Cloud as you, Dave. I think Into Pieces was better, really evocative, and the trippy intro to Black Cloud, very cool. Yes, it was indeed. And Tuss jumped in to say, listen to Gravity now. Not bad. Cool. Glad you're all enjoying it. That is a very cool album. Go and check it out. I'm going to try and post one final link in the comments. I apologize for not coming through. I don't know what's happening with this regard. Hopefully it'll be fixed in the future. But anyway, for now, we're going to move on to what would be our headline act of the evening. We're going to move on to Weezer with Van Weezer. This is 10 tracks for 31 minutes. The 15th studio album from the American band, released May 2021 via Crush Music and Atlantic Records. Produced by Susie Shin. 4 singles have so far been released, including The End of the Game and Hero. This album sees the band return to focusing on guitars more and is dedicated to the late Eddie Van Halen. The song we did try to share before is All the Good Ones, so that's the latest video to go and check out. So please do go and give it a look. How'd you go this one, Dave?
Yeah. Weezer are part of that time in popular music that I really hate. I have never had any interest in this band. And mentioning this band in the same line as Van Halen is painful.
Here we go.
I had all intents and purposes trying to listen to this with an open mind. I really did. But right from the first song, I realized this is going to be very hard to do that. And it got worse as the album went on.
Wow.
This is terrible. Sure, there are some rock riffs, but his vocals are just as annoying as ever. And I think that's what I hate most about this band, his fucking voice. Guitars are more distorted than what you usually get from what I've heard of this band. I try and not pay any attention to them. But that's mostly for the intro to the songs. Come the verse, it's the same fucking crap that you get from a Weezer song, and I hate it. You get that slightly strumming, clean fucking tone while he fumbles out some fucking story. It's best described as hipster wanker music. I have never liked this band.
Oh, shit.
And the song One More Hit started off pretty heavy with a riff that got my attention. And he starts singing. And the whole bored spoken word delivery. If he'd shut up, that song might be all right. It's an odd mashing style too. It doesn't flow well. You got the heavy guitar riff, and you got that typical pop Weezer crap.
Okay.
The song "She Needs Me." I can't imagine anybody needing this guy. Is she deaf?
Oh, okay.
And the last song, "Precious Metal Girl." Okay, mention metal, and it's a wimpy, whiny little ballad. You can just imagine, those old Looney Tunes cartoons where that little dog is prancing around trying to be friends with that big fucking dog? You just picture this little guy trying to follow like Angela Goslow from Arch Enemy. And he's got his little guitar singing this little bitchy ballad, and she just turns around and decks him. That's what I would like to see happen.
Wow.
There was nothing good about this. Finn.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay, I'm not going to go that hard at it. Jeez. Because we did, we reviewed Pinkerton. Nick chose that for us as a Forge episode. And I wasn't overly thrilled with that one. I think that was very close to a bin, or was in the bin for me at that point in time. I'm not a fan of that album. I haven't generally gravitated toward this band at all. So I went into this very cautiously. So with expectations lowered, this is where I went into it. It's much more guitar focused, which is better for me. It does take a few tracks to give you anything like what you're expecting. It was dedicated to Eddie Van Halen, and you like, I don't know. It's weird. They takes about 4 tracks or whatever it is out of a 30-minute album to sort of give you a taste of what you sort of might think you might get from an album that does that. When it does kick in on like end of the game, that's actually pretty cool. I found that you may not like his vocals, but his guitar ability is fucking fantastic. Like he gets pretty bloody close to style and tone for Eddie Van Halen, and it's not a knockoff or a thing. I actually think he did a really good job on the guitar work of this. I think the vocals are a taste thing. You can take it or leave it in that regard. I think at its heart, though, this is still pop-oriented rock. Very easy to take in for anyone and everyone. This is very, very safe. This is what, you put on for people that, want to listen to rock music but aren't really rock fans.
Yep.
And you can see why certain songs on this were chosen as singles. There are some seriously, seriously big hooks on this one. I think it's actually well produced. I think perfect for the style, really clear, plenty of sparkle, which is what you want from this style of music. And there's some nice subtle touches on this, like through with things like hand claps in time of the drum stuff, very subtly done in the mix, and that was a cool little trick on this. I think there's enough grit in the right spots for this one. The guitar tone, for example, has enough on it to cut through with all this, this sparkle going on to it. And all in all, it's very clean, very well balanced. It's perfect for radio. I think it's even got that compressed crunch going into it, which I'm not a huge fan of personally, but you know that rock radio are going to love the way this sounds through their station. So we'll see how it goes in that regard. The track Blue Dream, that starts off as being a take on Crazy Train and then goes a hard left into something else. Yeah. I didn't quite get what they were going for with that song. Like, it's well done to a point. Like, if you want to show off you can play some, Randy Rhoads, cool, well done, mission accomplished. But I don't know what the point of it was, though, in the context. I mean, this whole thing was meant to be inspired by Eddie Van Halen, and it just, I don't know. It didn't gel for me. And there was another part, too. There's a breakdown moment in One More Hit, which has almost a Master of Puppets riff going into it. All those things, all that sort of stuff tends to make this one a bit more of an oddball mix of pop blended with hard rock and metal with some pretty drastic turns in between. I think that the closing ballad you mentioned before, pretty Precious Metal Girl, really demonstrates that lyrically too for mine. I have to give credit to it because I think it's done well. If you're a fan of this band, I think this will make you very happy. If you're not a fan, this won't do anything at all to change your mind. But at least, unlike other albums, I found there were some fun points in this to listen to. So, it wasn't, I don't know. it's an interesting one, if nothing else. Some people might want a longer album. I think 30 minutes is about right for this. I don't know if I could go for longer than that with this stuff. And I'm also okay with that, especially considering they released another album for 30 minutes in January this year as well. So they're starting to smash them out for whatever reason. I think all in all, this flows well, has some solid dynamics. The hooks are pretty fucking infectious. Like, it's perfect for radio, this stuff. It is well worth a listen. I think it's worth your time. I'm not the biggest connoisseur of this band in any way, shape, or form, so I'd like to know what long-term fans of this band make of this album at this point in their career, more so, because I didn't think we would overly go well with this one. Not me, not you. But at the same time, I'm not going to bin it. But I want to know from people that are actually into this band what they think of it too, and not just take our word for it. And get in the comments and let us know where this album ranks for you. Please do, because that'll give other people some different reference points to come into and check this out from people that do enjoy this band. But for me, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Was better than I expected it to be in the end. So the end of the game was my big standout. That is a big fucking hook, and you can tell exactly why it was the lead single from this one. Also, one more hit, and Sheila Can Do It. I thought those tracks were pretty fun. All right, so we're so Nudes is gone. So I guess we won't be seeing Dave rocking a Weezer shirt next week. Probably not.
Probably not.
And Tough jumped in before to say, I found out about Weezer when I was looking for that heavy metal song about the three little pigs. So the Green Jelly track. That's where he found out Weezer. All right, cool. We're getting some. Okay, so Tough's gone. It's sort of soft rock, something to listen to work. Yeah, it is very safe work. Very, very safe work. The Watcher, another semi-regular of ours on YouTube. Thanks for jumping in again. Okay, he's gone. I'm a fan since the 90s guitar garage-inspired Blue album. This is the rock album they do now every 4 albums. If you appreciate the 90s alt grunge, then this is for you. That could be actually a very valid point for you, Dave, because you struggle with that one. So, yeah, he's jumped in to say a better review than Dave's Sex Pistols one. Yeah, well, it's probably true.
Fair call.
And Nikki's jumped in on Facebook to go, yep, fuck, I love Tough. Yes, Tough is great value for us here. And Sally's jumped in to say, okay, the Three Little Pig song is cool. That is very, very cool.
That's the song I'll play for the guitar video. Play the
okay, cool. Can I hold you to that? Okay. Just on that, just the Watcher, thank you for jumping in and giving us a different perspective on that. It's good to get people that have more of a love for this band than people like you and I do to get involved in the conversation, because it's important to get the different sides of the coin here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, if you want to hate on us, that's okay too. We'll see what happens in the YouTube comments later on, especially when I cut the individual review alone out of the context of the episode, and we'll get some.
Get me Weezer fans.
Yeah, we'll get some hate out of it.
Yeah, your little guitars.
Yeah, but we started a little bit late. Oh, here we go. Nikki's jumped in saying Blue album rules. Okay, if Nikki got a couple of comments about that one, I might have to check that out. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Tough's gone. I like Adventure Time cartoons, so I can't hate Weezer. Yeah, that's fair enough. The latest video is a bit like that too. So, okay, there are some people. Okay, cool. Good. I like that. Oh, here we go. Nikki, are you having a drink, Nikki? Because, Dave, I could totes go you. Talking about the Weezer fans, that's what you're in reply to you saying that. All right. So, here we go. I think that's it, though. That's our reviews done. We started a few minutes late. We've actually gone on about that hour mark. We'll try and wrap it up about this point in time. And we have, yep, Nikki's confirmed. She's drinking.
Cheers.
It's okay. So are we. So we do every time we film. Okay, News has also jumped in. Check out their tune In the Garage. Okay, we're going to have to do some more digging. I'm going to have to find out. I'm going to try and find out what people like with this. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I will try and get to it as we go along in due course. All right, but we are getting to the time of the night where we say that's enough for now. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks to you, Dave, for jumping in on a Thursday night yet again to do another episode.
Always fun.
It is very, very fun.
Last time, Darren Humphreys recommended I check out a band called something Ellie. It's Ellie. Yeah, it's Ellie. They were really good. If you're still watching, mate, thanks, because she's pretty good. She a song called Fire, which was good, and she did a cover of Barracuda, which was really fucking good. Yeah, so you have to listen to more of his stuff. But yeah, thanks for the recommendation, man.
Shoot us through a link to that one, Dave. The stuff you checked there. I'm curious now. Sally's jumped in to say she's Bailey's on ice. Yep, cool. Awesome. Nice. And Tough is clearly having a drink with us as well. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Nikki's gone on you, Darren. So again, all the comments coming through to try and wrap things up. So for those that want to know what we got coming up, so our next streams on Sunday, we will be doing another stream in theory. We have now it's happy release day today. I didn't do this before. It's happy release day to Eat the Damn Orange. So Tim and Brendan are in a band. If you know their show, you know Tim and Brendan. They're in a band called Eat the Damn Orange, and they just dropped their debut album, Taking the Pith, today. So please go and check it out. Give it a listen. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It's a great album. Congratulations to the guys and girl in the band. So very, very good album. We will be doing a review of that one on Sunday. So I think, Dave, it might be just you and I, regardless on that album, and particularly we can't have Brendan or Tim reviewing work. So, Nikki, if you're watching, jump in for that review, would you?
Yeah, there's a song about Nikki on there.
There is a song dedicated to Nikki on that one, which is all good. We have to get that footage out at some point too. I think it's from the Kiss special. I have to dig it out. But we're also, so we're going to review the latest from Eat the Damn Orange, the debut album. We're also going to review the latest from Acolyte and the new album from Miles Kennedy as well. Both of those, Acolyte and Miles Kennedy, ones are dropping tomorrow. So go and check those out. Make sure you tune into channel 44 tonight on Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. Adelaide time for our second part of our Michael Gudinski special. If you're watching now, go and check it out in just under an hour. Oh, sorry, hour and a half. I keep thinking forgetting the half-hour difference from them. Tuesday, we have another interview. Nikki has locked it in today, so well done to Nikki. We're doing a chat with Shotgun Mistress, and then Thursday we'll do another episode online as well. Speaking of TV spots, I mentioned the Thursday night slot before, so it's every Thursday night, 10:30 p.m. Channel 44 Adelaide, and it's also every Saturday night, 10:30 p.m. Channel 31 in Melbourne. That's where you can watch us on TV. And we'll have our upcoming special, like you said, at the end of this month, Grunge. So that's what's coming up at the end of this month. So that's it for now. As always, make sure you're following us. Our details are in the description, like I said before. All the links to the bands and that are there as well, or music at least to go and check out. And follow links, follow us, all that sort of stuff. And please check out our Patreon page, PayPal, all that sort of stuff. Any help you can give us is greatly, greatly appreciated. And also, as always, a big thank you to our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, as well as ours, are in the description. Find them, give them a follow, and show them some love. But I think that's about it. We have time for the bin in a second, but a very big thank you to everyone for tuning in, whether you're joining us live in the comments or fuck, look at the comments. So I'll get to those in a second before we go. But yeah, a big thank you to everyone for joining us either live or whether you're watching or listening on a different time frame later on, not live with us tonight. But it is that time of the night where we go to the bin. So Dave, what have you got?
Yeah, I got two. They kind of lead into each other. Cool. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know it's not worth bitching about, but it's kind of nice for bands to get recognized for their achievements. But, you know, when you're inducting LL Cool J and Jay-Z into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but you haven't inducted Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Thin Lizzy, Motorhead, Blue Oyster Cult, what the fuck? These people, these bands are not like little bands. They've certainly had their influences and they've had their album sales and their tours, and you know, they're not unknown bands. They kind of had their impact. And then, you know, the argument is, you know, it's other bands may have, or other artists may have rock elements, but you know, if there's a hip hop Hall of Fame, you're not going to put Metallica and Pantera in there. But
hey, Metallica, that might be enough to get them in.
I'd pay to see James rap a Yeah song. Fucking yeah. But yeah, that's the first part. The second part leads into this lack of appreciation or degrading of language. Because people spent years developing language to class things and describe things and categorize things, and nobody seems to give a shit. You know, rock is rock. Rap is rap. You know, you got to describe things as they are. That's the whole idea of language.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fading in recent years, not just the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, but, you know, people just want to categorize things as an easy description. You can't just look at a tree and call it a tree. You have to describe what color it is, what the texture is. That's what language is for. And by just giving simple, generalized name for something, it just destroys what people spent generations developing language for. And it's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm. It's true. As someone, we both like to read as well, and so that's a pretty important thing there. Oh, by the way, we did get a request saying, can we put some book reviews and that into our chats at some point? So we'll definitely try and add more of that as we go along. We did get a request for that. It's one of those ones. Takes a bit longer to read a book than it does to review an album. We'll see what we can do in that regard when some of us get some of those things done.
We'll just have a chat and see whoever on the crew has read what bios, and then we can just see if we can remember parts from it. Might be the easiest way.
Yeah, be worth looking into for sure. For me, this is a fun one for me. Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but every year fucking people bitch about it, so whatever. I'm over the whole fucking thing these days. But for me, this is okay. Full disclosure: I'm a Collingwood supporter, Collingwood member, all that sort of stuff. So rah. Now, Jimmy put them in the bin recently in the lounge stuff, and that's all good too. They're having a shit year. So because we're having a shit year this year, we did take, or the Collingwood social media team tried to take the piss a little bit, and there's a mark of the week thing every week. So someone jumps up, takes a great mark. Now, no one's going to deny Shai Bolton and his mark for Richmond was the mark probably of the year. That's probably going to win at the end of the year. But Brody Myercheck for Collingwood took a hell of a good mark as well. And so as it is every week with this sort of stuff, they put a few out there and go, okay, choose one. Colin got the social media and just went, okay, we're going to lose, but hey, let's give it a crack anyway. Turns out the Collingwood player won the Mark of the Week nomination. And everyone's fucking bitching and moaning and carrying on like nothing else. The amount of salt that's being thrown around about this is fucking hilarious for me, because a few years ago, what was clearly the mark of the year for Jeremy Howe was overturned at the end of the year because it was a Joe Danaher mark, because it was all, defined by public vote at that point in time. So much so was the outrage that Jeremy Howe didn't win at the actual mark of the year. They changed the rules afterwards so that the actual final mark of the year thing is no longer an audience vote. It's actually determined by a panel of experts. That's how big of a thing it was. So now everyone's getting cranky because Collingwood have got one back. And it's like, hey, Jeremy Howe says hello for all those that are complaining this time around. And by the way, like I said, Shai Bolton mark was better. I just think the whole circus playing out on social media is amusing as fuck to me. The people that are salty about it, get in the bin, because it's a lot of fun. And you all know that at the end of the year, because you can add marks that weren't the winner of the week, because everyone knows it's a publicity thing or a popularity contest, they're going to actually find like 5 really good marks and throw them into the category to be in there anyway. So there's no chance that Shai Bolton does not get in there in the year, and I'm pretty sure he's going to win it, and well done to him if he does, because it's a fucking great mark. Better than Brody Myercheck's. But right now, I'm happy because Collingwood got to steal one back on social media. We haven't got many wins this year, only 2 of them, so I'm going to take that one for all I can. Everyone else can fuck off. So that's what I'm putting in the bin. All right, so we got some final comments coming through. I'll go back a little bit for this one. Where we got? Darren said, "Yep, he's still here." So he was giving you the horns there. There you go. Tuff's gone. Might have to delete my history. I don't know what you've been looking at. Well,
can you check out David Allison's video?
Maybe he did. Yes, Tuesday is confirmed. Nikki was saying, yes, we have got that interview locked in, and Eat the Damn Orange fucking rule, and she's gone. She's heard the album, so we're going to have to get her in for that review. Okay, beautiful. Sally, very excited. Miles, outside voice. Can't wait, boys. Yes, we're going to be doing that one. Nikki was laughing, you and LL Cool J. Dave was saying, Sally was saying, yes, all true to that as well. So a few people agreeing with you. Nerds was asking, are you saying Weezer should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Dave?
I'm surprised they're not.
Nikki was more agreeing with you. Tough was saying, bin CrossFitters at the gyms. I had a moron jumping on boxes or almost falling while I was working out. Okay. Yep, that's out there. Let's not do that. Sally jumped in and said, Dave and Lemmy were tight. Yes, they were. I hope he throws shade at their fucked attitude toward our trial. That would be very cool if you did. What else? Tuff's going, do a history of metal section thing. That'd be interesting. Okay, that would take some research to actually plan out. Probably if we did some of that, I'd like to actually map it out effectively. You were doing some of that on your radio show for a while.
And just recently we were watching School of Rock, and then the kids wanted to play School of Rock, so me and Julia went nuts, and we wrote down 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, but we filled up so much space with the 60s, 70s, 80s that fuck the 90s. We had to drop the rest off. So it was a half history.
All right. Well, we have some scope there to play with. We currently have Professor Dave doing some sort of work on that, so we'll see how we go with that as a future idea. Darren jumped in to say he's currently reading Ted Templeman's bio. Awesome. And to finish off, he was going into different types of metal was tough, following up his metal section thing. What do we got here? Collingwood versus Swans this weekend. Yes, going to make things interesting. Yes, it is for you and I, Nikki. We'll see how we go with each other on. Well, if you join us on Sunday, we'll know for sure. But if not, definitely on Tuesday, you and I can have a chat. What are we going here? Oh, did Collingwood lose again? You sure you don't want to jump to ship and barrack for Carlscombe? No, I'm never going to barrack for that lot. And we didn't lose. We won. We beat North Melbourne and we won Mark of the Week. So fuck it, I'm having a good week this week. I'm going to take it while I can. And the Watcher, go Pies. Yes, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Not just me. Awesome. Good to see. And Tim too, for that matter. What else we got here? He got some nice trim balls by that ball trigger thing. I think that's in after deleting his browser history. So you may need to delete your comments as well if you want to give yourself a clean slate there, Tough. But that brings us to the end once again. Thank you all so much for jumping in, having a chat with us tonight. Good to see some regulars. Good to get some new faces as always. We love having new faces here. So thank you all so much for jumping in. And, that's it for now. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Unless there's anything else you want to add there, Dave, before we sign off?
No, all good. I can't think of any more David Ellison jokes, so I think it's time to call it enough.
For now.
For now. Oh, there's more next time.
From Tough, let my history be a mystery. Yeah. Is Tough, a.k.a. Dave Ellison. Maybe, I don't know. Adam Long, always late. Sorry. But you can watch the whole thing from the start. This is a high-buy moment for you. Apologies. But, yes, you can go back and watch this whole thing from the start. It is Thursdays, Sundays, and Tuesdays when we stream. We usually kick off anywhere from 7:30 to 8:30 at night, and that's generally the time frame we go for about 45 to an hour, generally speaking. We've gone a little bit longer tonight. But that's how we sort of try to schedule these things out. But anyway, we'll see you all again very, very soon. It'll be here for people who want to watch it later on, so please do go back to the start if you've missed anything at all and check it all out for yourselves. Let us know what you think in the comments of all the music tonight. But as always, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all again very, very soon. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
Until next time.
Drink up.
Rock on.